Okay, so I wanted to do just a sort of a casual conversation about my process for taking the 107 and passing it. Some of you have asked what I use to study, so I thought I would talk about that and give you guys a glimpse at what's to come in the future and how I'm going to use this 107. Stay tuned. What's up everyone, welcome back to Phones, Drones, Tech. I'm Original Dobo, and if you are new here, consider hitting that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss another video just like this. Okay, so last prop wash, I announced that I took my 107 and that I passed. I really didn't elaborate much further because I wanted to do a separate video on the whole process, just sort of a casual process anyways, and just do a casual conversation. But it was pretty abrupt. I basically decided on September 29th, the day of the event that I had where Billy was down and we had that big meetup, that I was going to take the 107 class. And a lot of the inspiration really came from, well, two things really. One, I talked to Brian Fenneray from Smoky Mountain Aerial, and I saw what he was doing and how he was making money and how he was able to fly in places that technically hobbyists aren't allowed to fly, but 107 pilots could, even without a waiver. You can fly in certain places. And I was just like, man, I'm really missing out. Like, there's no reason for me not to do this. I'll touch more on that here in a moment. And then the other reason is obviously with these new laws, the FAA laws changing, yeah, they're going to make it somewhat more complicated for hobbyists, but I just thought with doing YouTube and everything else, why risk it? Even though the FAA is not prosecuting or pursuing anybody, I was just like, you know what, there's just no reason. I should have done this a long time ago. So Billy and I were actually going to take this test like that following day. Like, I think it was like the 30th, September 30th. We were just going to march in there Sunday or Monday morning and take it, but they couldn't get us in. They didn't do same day tests, and it's probably a good thing that we didn't do that. So I watched Tony Northrup's video probably like 3 or 4 times before taking the test. Now Tony's video will definitely get you like 75% of the way there. And then the other part that I did was basically I sort of looked for certain things like toughest questions on the FAA 107 test. And there's a lot of videos. Remote Pilot 101 has a video on it as well. And they cover like the top 3 or 4 like tough trick questions, I guess. And that really helped out. There was a lot of information in there. And then 3DR has a practice test, and the practice tests are pretty close to what you will see on the official test. So I studied and took those tests like religiously, like every day, testing myself, doing section after section. About 30% of what you're going to see is sectional charts. So you need to understand those, and you need to understand longitude and latitude. Although I didn't have any longitude or latitude questions on the test, study for it because it could be on yours. And somebody said that weather wasn't on the test, but weather sure as hell was on my test. So make sure you understand how to read METAR reports and TAF reports. It's crucial to understanding what's coming and going as far as weather goes, and understand Zulu time. If there's anything I can say is understand Zulu time, because it's really important. That's how you can determine whether or not a weather report is valid from X time to X time. It's really important. Somebody said it wasn't there and I started slacking off, but then part of me was like, no, I better study for that. And I'm really glad I did, because it was there on the test. So super important. But all in all, I probably put in about 6 hours of studying in all, and I scored an 85%. Now the test took me 25 minutes to complete. And if I probably would have slowed down a little bit, I probably would have did even better. But I was just so jazzed, so amped to be taking it that I sort of blazed through it a bit. But 25 minutes is what it took me. There's 60 questions on my test. Some people have said that there was like 63 or 64 test questions. Like there was 3 additional questions that the FAA would put in to like sort of see how their test is doing. I didn't see that on mine. It was a computer test, and then they handed me a booklet and you had to flip through the booklet. What I did was folded over the page where the reference points were, so I can constantly flip back and forth. I brought a magnifying glass and I brought a calculator with me. I didn't need the magnifying glass. I did need the calculator to calculate how much load could be on a plane during a bank turn. So those are things you'll need to know. It's really super easy. Like literally, it's almost like taking an open book test for the most part. So don't let people freak you out over this test stating that it's hard or it's so rough. It's not. It's really super easy. And honestly, it was probably one of the easiest tests I've ever taken in my life. As long as you've studied and you have some form of common sense, it's really easy to figure out which answers are the right one and which are the wrong. There are a couple of trick questions, so just read it entirely. They are very black and white with the questions, so you just have to read it. Now I'm sort of like, okay, I've got it, What do I do next? Well, the first thing I did was came home, I registered with IACRA, and they said it took 48 hours to see the test results, 24 to 48 hours. It was more like 72 hours for those results to get loaded. Once they are loaded, you will associate your exam ID to your application that you're submitting for your remote pilot certification. From that point, it takes 7 days to get the actual temporary license. And then from there, you'll get a official license. They say 4 weeks, but it's probably going to be a lot longer. It's the government, right? So it can take, a month or more for me to get the official license. But once you get the temporary license, you're like good to go. You're ready to fly and you're ready to start making money with your drone, which brings me to how am I going to make money? So I've thought about this long and hard. I look at what Brian does. Now, Brian has a really expensive rig and he's inspecting power lines and doing a lot of commercial applications like that. I'm going to start a little bit smaller. I'm going to start with real estate photos. And I think to build up a clientele, I'm going to do the first couple of sets of photos for realtors for free. Like, I just want to get a good portfolio going first, and then I'll do some for free, but I'm going to be really aggressive with pricing. I went ahead and set up a website and a business name that I'm registering with the state of Florida, and it's going to be Apex Aerial Imaging. And you can visit us at apexaerialuas.com. I'll put a link in the description below if you just want to check it out. It's a pretty basic site right now. I'm still working on it, but as I start developing it further, I'll have more information loading up there. And then obviously, being a business, I have to be, not accredited, but at least insured. So I figure this is a good segue into today's video sponsor. Now, Skywatch AI is a drone insurance service and app offering instant, clear, and flexible coverage for drone pilots. You can get hourly, on-demand coverage, or you can sign up for monthly coverage. It's totally up to you, with the ability to schedule your flights ahead of time and know exactly what the hourly rate will be. Skywatch AI is absolutely crucial for up-and-coming aerial photography companies. So I don't normally run sponsored spots, but I felt like Skywatch really did sort of coincide with the topic of today's video, because part of developing a business is I have to be insured. Like, licensed and insured is really important for realtors. They want to know that if an accident happens over a client's house, that I'm going to be able to cover the damages. And it's pretty fantastic because being a new business, I may not have enough of consistent business to support paying a monthly fee for insurance. So at least with Skywatch, I can build a quote for a realtor and say, okay, this is what it's going to cost to do these photos. And if it takes me, let's say, an hour to take the photos, I factor in that $10 cost, sell it as cost to the realtor. So that way it's okay. If I'm charging $70 for the shoot, okay, with insurance, it's $80. I'm not even going to give them the option. If the house costs, under $500,000, I only need $500,000 worth of insurance. Now, the insurance only covers if there's accidental damage that happens to their property, but Skywatch also offers hull insurance as well under their monthly subscription. So if you want to check that out, I would totally advise doing so. But Skywatch also covers that, but I'm just not to the point where I can afford put in like full-on monthly insurance. But once I get to that point, I'm definitely going to use Skywatch for that. It was funny, like they reached out to me and they were like, hey, have you tried this? And I'm like, no, but funny you should mention it. I'm taking my 107, I'm starting a business. I'm gonna need some form of insurance. So I'm definitely going to be using them. It's just super easy to schedule out my flights and then know exactly what my insurance is going to cost. So I would encourage you, if you're doing this professionally, make sure you have some form of insurance if you don't use Skywatch. But there will be a link in the description below that you can check it out and download the app. But I'm just gonna take it slow, try to grow the business the best I can, and just really put 110% in to making money with a drone beyond YouTube. I think a lot of people think that because you have a YouTube channel and you have videos and there's ads on your videos that you're automatically making a lot of money, and that's really not true. If I make like $3 or $4 per video, that's really a lot. And that's the honest truth, that there's not a lot of money in AdSense. The money is outside of YouTube. The money is in the marketing. And obviously with a drone, we can take aerial photos that not every photographer can get. So I'm gonna try to market to like the wedding photographers, the real estate agents to start off with. And then as I grow, I'll get a better and better drone to be able to accommodate my needs. But pretty excited about that. Also, in other news, I did partner with DroneWorks. They're going to be the official channel partner. So you'll be seeing some videos coming up pretty soon with them. They actually sent me out some filters for the Mavic 2 Pro. So I'll have a review of these filters very soon. Pretty awesome stuff. A lot of great things coming to the channel, and I'm going to document the whole process. So these vlogs are going to be something that I'll do pretty often, sort of just giving you an update on how successful things are becoming or how hard it's becoming. So I think that's important for people to understand that this is not easy to do, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of grooming. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Just wanted to give you a little insight and update because I really didn't go too far in depth on it. So thanks so much for all the support, guys. I really do appreciate it. And as always, stay original.